welcome to today's little Hobbii happy hour with me, Louisa, and with the wonderful Matthias. He is back. The man, the myth, the legend is back in the studio. Yesterday even with a little cameo from our dear friend Stephen, who returned. For those of you who joined bingo yesterday, you would have seen. Just a quick note, because this truly was a one-time thing, so don't get your hopes up. He's not back for good. He just stopped by to hang out with Matt a little bit and say hi to those of you who joined the bingo. Just, yeah, don't expect random cameos at random times, like, you know, just making sure to manage expectations there. Yeah. I was a bit nervous that people would be like, I wonder who's behind the scenes there. I'm like, no one. It's just me. It's just me and Matt.
The chat is loving the earrings, I see.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I got them new. I think I mentioned last week or the week before that I'm going to a wedding in 4 weeks' time. And yeah, I am just a girl, which means that if you invite me to a wedding, I will use that as a shameless excuse to shop for multiple outfits, multiple pieces of jewelry, just because, you know, I need to put together the perfect outfit. But if I find perfect jewelry that doesn't end up making the wedding outfit along the way, so be it. But thank you very much. They're from Etsy. I really love them. It's only my second time wearing them. I literally received the package on Saturday. But yeah, I hope that you're all doing well. I hope that this week's been off to a good start for you. Mine certainly has, partially because Matt's back, and that's just very nice. It's nice to not be completely alone anymore. But also because I've been looking forward to this and to hanging out with you. In case you're brand new, in case this is your very first time that you're seeing a live shopping, hi and welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining. I'll briefly explain what this is all about. Basically, this is a little hour-ish of just fun and inspiration. The idea is that I have selected 12 beautiful yarns this week, and I will show them to you. I will tell you a little bit about them, and I will give you some ideas on what you can make with those yarns. Of course, not only will I be presenting them, we do also offer you an exclusive discount on those 12 yarns. This week's discount is 40% off, and the discount code that you want to use to receive those 40% off is HAPPY40. HAPPY40 written in one word, just happy and the numbers 40. It is written right above me right now. And if you type that very code into the chat, you will actually receive a link leading you to our landing page. Maybe Matt can show the landing page for just a second, where I've actually linked all the yarns for you. And I have also linked a few patterns and a few ideas on what you can make with those yarns. I know that right now on the website, it's a little bit tricky finding the patterns that go with the yarn, which is why I've linked a selection here, so you have an easier time finding some ideas on what to make with the yarns that we have in the selection for you. If your favorite yarn is not in the selection, I'm very sorry. I do keep an eye on the chat to see what people want, and I do try to include them as soon as I can into the streams. So don't feel bad if you posted recently that there's a yarn that you'd really like to see on live shopping and it hasn't been on. We do try to incorporate what we can when we can, so let us know. Ruth is saying the pinned links are not working. That is interesting. It works from our end. So then the question is, when you say it's not working, do you mean it doesn't work when you just click on it? Or it leads you somewhere, like, does it give you an error message, or can you just not click the link? Like, maybe specify so we know. Okay, so it does seem to be a problem. Matt is changing out the links. So don't you worry, Matt is changing the link. That's good to know, because then I'll have to look into... No, but that link is the same link.
It's the same link?
Oh, interesting. Matt is fixing things. Matt is looking into it. It was working earlier, so strange. Huh. Interesting.
Interesting. I'll figure it out.
Matt is trying to figure stuff out. See, that's the beauty when he's here. I don't have to worry about it while I'm on the stream. I can already feel myself getting a little bit hot and sweaty, which is actually, that's due to the studio, not very much due to this. But now I'm like, oh, it's so good to have Matt here. He can handle this while I just talk to you. In addition to the 40% off discount that we offer you on our 12 yarns. We do also have 4 giveaways in total today that we'll be giving away during the stream. For each of the giveaways, you can win a gift card worth $25 or equivalent in your currency. And the first winner has already been drawn from everyone who clicked that they were going on this Facebook event. But don't worry, we have 3 more giveaways coming up. We will also be giving away a gift card to 2 people who are selected at random from the chat. And we are also going to give away 1 gift card to someone who gives a little like on this video too. So make sure you give us a like. Check if that one is working, just out of...
It works. This one works.
Interesting. So the one on YouTube is working, the one on Facebook doesn't seem to be working.
I'm gonna use that one instead.
Cool.
Let's see.
Matt is trying his magic. Maybe it's the fact that there was the little like emoji was too close to it. Maybe it added the emoji.
It's different. It says live shopping at the end of the one we used before.
Yes.
This one says happy 40.
Yes.
And that works apparently.
This is the one I put through the link shortener. That's the one that also auto applies the code. So that one should work.
Perfect.
Cool. We're back in business. Matt is going to just randomly post the link in the chat as well so that people can see what is happening. See, because that one is the
that
one.
One works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. So glad you're back when we're having technical issues. I'm so glad none of this happened last week. Right. So I think I've mentioned everything. 40% off. It's valid 24 hours and you cannot combine it with any other discounts. It also applies to the base price of an item. So if you can see, some of the yarns that we have in our selection already have a bulk discount. When you buy multiple skeins, you get 20% off or 30% off. The 40% will not apply on top of that bulk discount. It will replace the bulk discount, and it will replace it regardless of how many skeins you buy. So you can just get it for that. If you want to use another discount code, if for instance you also really liked the bingo discount from yesterday and you want to use that, I would recommend that you just place 2 separate orders. I know that that's a hassle, but you cannot combine the codes, and the checkout is always going to try and find the best deal for you. So if you only want to buy 1 skein from the live selection with the Happy 40 discount, but you want to buy 5 other yarns and apply the bingo discount, depending on how it checks out mathematically, the checkout might give you the bingo discount or the live discount. It won't give you both. So that is the... Caitlin says the pinned link isn't working, but the one that I get sent usually works. Great. We'll do our best to make sure that you get all the links and that you get the landing page so you have all the yarns and patterns in one place. Just know you do not need the link. If you, for some reason, shouldn't get the link sent to you, or if it doesn't work, you can still just go to the webpage, pick out the yarns that you like, and still just apply the code Happy40 at checkout. So you can just type it into the little field there for the gift card / coupon. And then that works as well. And with that, I would say, let's get started talking about some yarns. I will keep an eye on the chat, of course, so I can kind of chat with you a little bit as well. The first 3 yarns that I've picked are all the slightly little, all the fuzzy and kind of cozy yarns. So what I have for you today is number 1, I've got Fluffy Day. Number 2, I've got Peacock, and number 3, I've got our blanket yarn. So you can see these are kind of loosely related in that they're all yarns that have a bit of kind of fluffiness or fuzziness about them. I'm gonna get started with our first yarn of the night. I'm gonna get started with Fluffy Day. Fluffy Day is a 100% acrylic yarn, and it is a great yarn option for those of you who like mohair yarns or similar yarns in theory, but are very sensitive to the animal fibers in those yarns, because this is a 100% acrylic yarn that still has that fluffy brushed texture. It is also, as you can obviously see, significantly thicker than a lot of mohair yarns. A lot of mohair yarns are a lace weight. This one is a medium weight yarn, so a DK weight. The recommended hook or needle size is a 5 to 6 millimeter. So this one's going to work up a lot faster, and you do not need to faff about with having multiple strands that you're holding at the same time. So you can just work with one. You still get the very fuzzy brushed texture and look that you would if you were combining mohair. But you get it all in one yarn, and it is made from acrylic. It is machine washable at low to medium temperature, so it's easy to take care of. And it's just a really, really fun yarn option for those of you who love a bit of fluff. For the same reason, a lot of fluff, I would not necessarily recommend it for something that's going to be very close to a baby's face. Just the more fuzz, the less suitable for tiny, tiny humans, I would say. But for a kid, for an adult, for nice accessories around the house, absolutely no question. Great, great yarn alternative. It also stays really nice and soft for a really long time. If the yarn kind of felts up a little bit, as these yarns do over time, same as any mohair blend does as well, you can always get yourself a little mohair comb, or you can just get a kind of different type of brush and just brush it out a little bit to fluff it up again. So that's just a really good way to rejuvenate these yarns over time. You get 310 yards on one of these skeins, and so you can kind of get crafting, and they run you for quite a while, especially with the larger hook or needle size. You kind of just get on pretty quickly.
Did she 310?
Yeah. It's
311.68.
Well, that's not actually...
The 68 very important.
No, it's actually not quite accurate. No. It's 311, you're right, though. I rounded down.
0.68.
I don't know about the 0.68 actually.
We've had
discussions about this with the shop team that's actually kind of incorrect.
It is funny to have like the point because it doesn't really...
but that's a problem because it converts from the meters.
Yeah, exactly.
So because they're produced in metric, and then it converts from there to and then of course it rounds. But for some reason on our webpage right now, it gives you the decimals, which is just pointless. So it's 311 yards. But I mean, I'd rather say 310 and then have people be pleasantly surprised that they get an extra yard of yarn rather than have it.
I miss whenever they said feet and inches. That was a great time.
Oh yeah, when they gave the measurements in feet. And then also they were missing the first number, so it would sometimes say that a yarn has 100 feet when what it meant was 1,000. Or 1,100, because it just kind of dropped one number. I saw someone say that they really like the color, so I'm just going to quickly tell you. So this is color 6 that I was holding. This one is color 14, and the gray is color 3. So just in case you were wondering which colors the ones were that I was showing you here, this beautiful teal, for instance, color 6. And Matt is now pulling up the full color palette for Fluffy Day. And one thing, Fluffy Day is one of the yarns that has one of my favorite new labels. And sadly, we don't have a new skein in the studio. So this is what it used to look like back in the day. This is the old label. But we do have the new label, which when you go on the website, you can actually see. And it is so cute. It is a little cat. It is a fluffy cat. So shout out to Daniel for this super, super cute design. I did bring you a pattern just to give you an idea on what you could make with this yarn. This pattern is a intermediate level crochet pattern, and it's called the Maria Cardigan. We have it available for free on the website. The example is done in this beautiful rust orange color. However, of course, you can apply any beautiful color from the Fluffy Day palette that you would like. The pattern can be made in sizes extra small to 5XL, so a very, very nice range. And I'm a big fan of those little kind of bell sleeves. I think they're really cute. And the little scalloped edge, I think it looks very, very fun. And it's going to be super, super soft and cozy, made in Fluffy Day. Yarn number 1, yarn numero uno of the night, Fluffy Day. And it is 40% off if you use our code HAPPY40 for the next 24 hours. So the code expires tomorrow around the time that we started this stream, which is always really fun because for most of our other live streams, it's very easy to give the start and end time because most of them are in the same time zone as we are. But with those of you who are watching from, especially if you're watching from like anywhere in North America, so if you're watching from the US or from Canada, because you're so spread out with so many time zones, and I can never be sure where anyone is watching from, it's the time when the stream starts, and from then on it's 24 hours. Whatever time that is where you are is the time. So that was Fluffy Day, our first yarn, and I'm going to move on to the next equally fuzzy yarn, although very different style, very different texture. The next yarn I have for you is Peacock, and Peacock is made from 100% polyester, and it is even fluffier, if you'll believe it. Very different, of course. So like I said, Fluffy Day kind of imitates the very kind of brushed, fluffy texture of a mohair yarn. And Peacock is much closer to a sort of fake fur yarn. You have one side of the thread, which is this kind of almost braided thread, which is what you actually work with. And then you have these fibers sticking out, causing the yarn to be a super fuzzy, kind of fake fur style yarn. It's made from 100% polyester. Here's a lighter color as well. Matt chose two of the kind of very natural colors, and then we have like this light blue here as well. So you do not have to, when I say fake fur, that's kind of, it's not quite, because it is very visibly not real fur, but it kind of is made in the same vein as those yarns would be. So I hope that makes sense. So this is much more of a kind of fun accent for all of you who like a little bit of fluff or fuzz. It's made from 100% polyester. It's a bulky weight yarn. Recommended hook or needle size is a 6 to 7 millimeter. It very much, again, depends on how exactly you want your project to look. If you want it to be very, very, very close stitches, you can size down your hook or needle. As you can see, the actual thread that you're working with is relatively thin. However, the smaller your needle size, the more of these fibers are going to be trapped in your project, so you will also get less of the kind of full fuzz effect. This has 71 yards on one skein and is a hand wash recommended yarn. And it is a great yarn. Of course, you can use it on its own. You can use it to make plushies. You can use it to make, cute little fuzzy toys. Something like a pillowcase, I think, could be really, really cute because it is very, very, very strokeable. However, I've actually picked two patterns that use it as part of some clothing for a cute extra effect. So the first pattern I selected is this one. It's called the Juliet Snood. So it's this little snood, or I guess tube scarf is also a word you would use for that, that has these cute little snuggly hearts in peacock added onto it. So it is a really, really cute project. The base is originally made in kind feather. You can of course substitute that for a different acrylic yarn if you would like, or a different fiber yarn if you would like, but the hearts are made in peacock and they kind of stand out from the project and give it that little bit of extra interest. Similar to soft lash, which we had on the show last week, peacock is another yarn that you could also use to kind of edge, to put a little bit of a trim on the edges of any kind of item of clothing, be it a cardigan or a sweater or even the brim of a hat. I've also selected this super cute scarf pattern. It's another crochet pattern. It is the Teddy's Hug scarf, a really cute pattern. And again, you can see the peacock, in this case the teal peacock, being used as this little bit of extra added interest on the scarf. So in combination with another yarn. And I just think it's a really, really cool idea to use peacock like that. However, do not feel like you're limited to only using it as an accent. You can definitely use this yarn to make yourself a little plushie, to make yourself a fully fleshed, super, super cozy, fuzzy project. Matt's showing you the full color palette, so there's a lot of different options there as well. If you want to go more sort of the fake fur natural route, or if you want to go more the little pop of color or little pop of texture route. This was Peacock. It is 40% off if you use our code HAPPY40. I will say, as a absolute beginner, especially if you're crocheting, peacock can be quite the challenge. So just keep that in mind. As you can see, you've got all this fuzz. If you're knitting, it's a little bit easier because you're technically just constantly picking up this part. However, if you're crocheting, with all of this texture, I mean, even just on the skein, it's hard to see where the thread actually is. So this is definitely a yarn where if you have already a little bit of crochet experience and therefore you have a little bit of kind of a sense of touch or a sense of muscle memory in terms of where your stitches are and how to get into them, then this yarn is for you. If you're a complete beginner for your very first project, I would honestly not recommend it. I'll be very honest, because I think it's then probably a little bit frustrating to try and work with it, unless you're using it only in one row around a rug or a blanket pattern. But that's just, that would be sort of my little disclaimer. If you're a first-time crocheter watching this, this is not a yarn to start on. This is maybe a yarn for your third project, I would say. For knitting, I've been told it is a lot easier to work with because it's a lot more, it's a lot easier to pick up the thread. Could you make a blanket with this yarn, asks Jilta. Yes, absolutely you can. You absolutely can. It's going to be super, super fuzzy. It is going to be super cozy. I would say 100% you can use this for a blanket. However, and this is a perfect segue to our next yarn, you can also use our very own blanket yarn. And for blanket yarn, I just want to, for reference, once again, show you this in relation to my human head. Look at that. Look at that. My human head next to one skein of our blanket yarn. So this is a super, super thick jumbo yarn. It is, I believe, the thickest yarn that we sell. It is by far. This one you could technically even like hand knit or hand stitch, but you can also just use 20 millimeters or 25 millimeters hooks or needles to work it up. And this is made to be turned into a super fuzzy blanket. One of these has 42 yards of yarn. It's also made from 100% polyester, and it has a style of a chenille yarn. So you still have this super, I'm trying to see if I can show, but I probably can't get all the way into the center. But you have a really, really thin thread in the center here. It is pretty sturdy. And then you have all this fiber sticking out from it. So it's got the same texture and structure of our other chenille yarns. It is a little less, the fibers are a little less thin than they are on, for instance, Honey Bunny Big or other yarns like that. They are this Kaylin is asking, so to sign up for the next live shopping and be eligible for the random draw, what do you need to do exactly? So what you need to do is you need to find the next event, next week's event. You can type next one in the chat if you want to get a link to that event. You can also just find it on our profile. It is already linked. I've created, I think, all the events until the end of August. And then you can just go on the Facebook event and click going, where it asks you if you're going to attend. And everyone who does that is eligible for the draw for a gift card. Penny is saying, nice yarn. I'm not sure if I would want to use it for anything. It is definitely a really cool yarn, but I do think it's probably an acquired taste. It is very, very big, which means just in terms of the needle or hook size you're going to need is going to be really big, so it is going to be maybe a little rough on your joints. Also, 42 yards on one of these means you need quite a lot for a large blanket. Depending on the size that you're making, you're going to need a lot of skeins, so that's just good to know. However, if you are looking for a lot of skeins, a 40% discount could surely be a great way to stock up on this yarn. So you can check it out, check that out. Exactly. Where's the quiz, asks Susan. So the quiz is also on Facebook on Thursdays, and we are back this week. We had to cancel last week's because Matt was on holiday and I was unavailable, but Matt's back this week.
Woo! And you had one fun quiz as well, of course.
Hmm?
And you guys had a fun quiz as well.
Yes, we had two.
Two quizzes?
Two.
Oh yeah. That was
we
two.
did 2 quizzes,
Right.
and I made a mistake. I put in a question that was wrong. Like I
Oh.
had made a mistake in the question. I felt
Oh.
really bad. Yeah, happens.
It happens.
It was still a fun quiz. It was about Kid Silk, Friends Kid Silk, and it was the guessing game. And I made all the questions about Friends Kid Silk, but I made them about like really random stuff. So my first question was, what is the maximum number of skeins of Friends Kid Silk that the Saturn V rocket could have shot to the moon?
Interesting. Yeah.
So I went based off of the maximum payload capacity of the Saturn V rocket, which is the rocket that flew the Apollo missions to the moon. And I went with the highest payload it ever had, which was for Apollo 17. And then calculated based on that, if it had no lunar landing module, no astronauts, no food, no nothing, if it only had been filled with Friends Kid Silk, how many skeins could it have shot to the moon?
That's a fun question.
Stuff like that. And then I kept going with that. So I was like, so then if you make this project, how many of those can you shoot to the moon? Anyway.
How many could you send?
Oh, it was a lot. It was like, you can look up the script. It's still in the folder. It was like in the millions. It was a lot.
Oh, okay.
Because it's 25, because one of them is 25 grams.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Damn.
it's a lot. But anyway, if you want to answer fun questions like that, or other fun questions, you could join Matt on Thursday where he's doing our quiz time. If you type quiz 1 in the chat, you should also get the link to the next quiz time event, so you can also check that out. Sharon is saying that was the craziest question. Yeah, and then there was one where I just completely I essentially just confused length and weight, so I put in the wrong variable, and then the entire answer didn't make sense anymore. So that was completely my fault. But you know, Matt is pulling up some projects, and Caitlin, for instance, made these gorgeous blankets and did say that the 25mm hook was a little bit of a struggle. So again, maybe not the single most, beginner-friendly yarn out there. Brittany's asking, when we do unboxing videos, how do we know that you got them? So in order for your unboxing video to be part of the giveaway, it's actually pretty straightforward. You post it on Facebook on your account and you use the unboxing hashtag. And then it's in as long as your profile is visible. So if your profile is set to completely private, then our marketing team who do the giveaways will not be able to actually see your post. So that's actually all you have to do. Just post it, use the hashtag, and make sure that the picture is visible for us. Or not picture, video. Well, either way, whichever way you participate. Yeah, that's how it is. And then Shiloh's asking, in my opinion, how dense is the blanket yarn? So it is a little less dense than our regular chenille yarns. I would say that, for instance, Toucan is denser. However, it also has a different fiber quality. As you can see here, the fibers are a lot thicker and a little bit kind of rougher and a little bit floofier than they are for our regular chenille yarns, which are a little more delicate. So in terms of density, I would say it looks a little less dense, but because the fibers themselves are a little bit thicker, it kind of makes up for that. So you really have to like pull and push on it to feel the inner thread. It's going to be a super squishy, super soft result when you're working with it. Hashtag Hobbii unboxing. I think it's written on your packages when you get them nowadays. It used to be, at least, that it actually says it on the packaging what the hashtag is. Do we have any packaging here? No, we do not. And then someone asks, what is unboxing? Unboxing is simply a type of giveaway that our marketing department runs where you can post a video of yourself opening your Hobbii package and showing what you got and just sharing the love and using the hashtag. And amongst everyone who does it, every month there is a draw, and then a giveaway winner is announced and wins a gift card. So that's that. So that was our blanket yarn, which was our last yarn in this first little category, which means that we are now quickly approaching our first giveaway winner. And I've also, once again, activated a little poll. And this is actually based on a conversation I had with my friend last week. And we were talking about, I was saying, if you remember last week, basically you started all of this. Last week someone asked how many works in progress I currently had, and I couldn't quite remember, but I counted up to roughly 9 that I currently had going on. I have since finished one, so there's that, but I've also started a new one, so, you know. And based on that, on the weekend, I was then talking to my friend and saying about how I had all these ideas of all these projects I was going to do this summer, and how I was going to go to the beach and crochet at the beach and all of that. And the reality is I am currently constantly so hot and my hands are so sweaty that I do not want to touch yarns. And that has made me realize that I am I don't want to say off season because that's not quite right, but I am like an in-between season crafter. I love doing it in spring. I love doing it in fall. Fall is my #1 crafting season just because it's cozy. But I also don't have a whole lot of other pressures going on because in winter time with Christmas and all that, I feel like I'm a bit too overwhelmed to do a lot of crafting. If I do, it's last minute, oh, I need one more Christmas present. And then I've kind of discovered that spring is great because as the days get longer and the sun's out more, I get more energy. But it's also still usually quite rainy and grey, so I still want to stay inside and do crafts. And then summer, I've discovered I am just not a summer crafter. I am just not. I mean, I still have a handful of projects I need to get done, and I will. But that would be something that I would love to hear from you about. I just saw in the chat that someone else said, yeah, because my hands don't get sweaty in the fall. Exactly. And I know there's people who are completely who are like, no, I love crafting in every season. I just adapt my projects and stuff. That's also completely fair. But I would love to know what is your sort of main season for crafting, because I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm not alone in the feeling that kind of fall is an excellent time for it. Because then winter, yeah, you usually have like Christmas. You usually have a lot more things going on. And then summer, it's just, I mean, yeah, I have crocheted at the beach recently, but it was fun. And then I kept thinking, oh, I need to make sure I wash this because it's now touched so much sand and I don't want to gift it to someone and then just have like sand falling out of it, you know. So anyway, you can answer the poll if you want. It's on Facebook, and we'll just have it running for a little bit. And before we move on to our next yarn, I'm actually quickly going to announce our first winner, picked from everyone who signed up for this Facebook event. Congrats to Denise Sattler, or Denise Zattler, I don't know how it's pronounced. Congratulations, you are this week's first winner. You will receive a gift card worth $25 or equivalent in your currency. And all you have to do to receive that gift card is please send us an email to live@hobbii.com. So that is Denise Sattler. Please send us an email to live@hobbii.com. And do make sure to include not only that you won this week, but please also include where you are shopping from so that we can make sure that the gift card is actually made out to the right store that you are shopping from. So Denise Sattler, congrats! You are winner number 1. We do have 3 more giveaways throughout this stream. We will pick one winner from everyone who gives us a little like on this video. So if you haven't already, be sure to leave us a little like. And we will be picking 2 winners at random from the chat, and I will make sure you know when it's time to participate on that giveaway.
And we will be sending them out, by the way, latest Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
We go through the live inbox usually at the end of the week. So either like sometimes you do it late on Thursday as well, but most of the time it's on Fridays. So if you write to us, just be sure, just know you will expect the you will receive the answer at the end of the week. I love a lot of people saying I'm a whole year crafter. Someone was saying I keep my house cool enough in the summer to craft. That is very smart. I wish I could do the same. I was miserable over the weekend because my apartment gets incredibly hot. Sadly, I'm not on the top floor. And it's not like, there's no real reason for it. It's just, it gets very hot. But one big problem is all my windows face the same direction. So both kitchen and sort of everything else, everything faces in one direction, which means even if I open all the windows in all the rooms, there's no real draft going through. It's just still really stagnant. What I have discovered is what I have to do is I have to put a fan that essentially fans it from the hallway into all the rooms so that there's a bit of a like draft going. I was miserable. Oof. So yeah. Anyway. We're gonna move on, and we have 3 more yarns. This week's yarns, some of you may have noticed, a lot of them are kind of color changing or have some playful color variations. That's because we did a poll 2 weeks ago, and most people said that they gravitate more towards colorful yarns rather than solid color. So this week I kind of tried to include a lot of those. So some of the polls we just do for fun, but sometimes I really like seeing kind of what your thoughts and opinions are, so I can also kind of tailor this experience a little bit more to you. But in this pack of yarns, we've got Buena Vista, we've got Silly Socks Flower Pop, and we've got Sultan Deluxe. So I'm going to start with the Buena Vista, the yarn that I, at one point, I loved. I watched a bit of bingo yesterday because I knew Stephen was going to be there. So I joined in for that, but I saw when you were trying to describe the cotton silk, and you kept using rough.
Yeah.
Which I completely understood what you meant, and it reminded me of the last time I described Buena Vista, because I kept referring to the colors as faded.
Ah, yes.
And people were saying, Louisa, they're not faded. And I'm like, no, you're right.
What's the word?
but what's a better word that doesn't sound old or negative? Like, that doesn't sound like kind of negative. And I loved how you were saying, like, it's kind of rough. And I'm like, I understand 100% what he means, but it's still not the right word. I'll show you what I mean, though. So last time I just described the colors of this as kind of faded. Not faded in a kind of old and sad way, but more gentle colors that are that have that kind of, very muted quality. I think muted is probably the better word for this, but you know. So this is Buena Vista, which is a summer yarn, kind of. It is a limited edition, so just be aware of that. This is a fingering or sock weight yarn, and it is a blend of 56% cotton, 35% acrylic, and 9% polyamide. It is a really, really soft yarn quality with this muted colors, with this very soft gradient, and as you can see, the cream kind of runs through it, so the colors are always a little bit variegated and the cream tone kind of ties everything together. It is recommended that you use a 3 to 4 millimeter hook or needle, and one of these bad boys runs you for roughly 470 yards. It's a really lovely summer crafting yarn. And I mean, I keep saying summer yarn. It's a season all year round yarn, but because it's a limited edition that we have currently, I would say it's maybe a bit more geared towards summer crafting. Deborah is saying, I love Buena Vista and I made a shirt. I think muted might be a better word. You are absolutely correct, Deborah, and we're going to pop up your shirt right now. I assume it is yours. Or another person named Deborah who uploaded a picture, but I assume it's yours, and it looks super lovely. And it is a great example of how the color change and color kind of interplay happens with Buena Vista. So you don't get super stripy stripes, at least not on a wider project like a t-shirt, and you get that kind of muted pastel-y look. Think sort of houses in the sun that have been there for a few years, that you sit on the porch and you drink some iced tea with ice cubes while there's a fan going.
That sounds good. I mean, not possible here because we're having the very bad rainfall.
Yeah, we're having a massive. Matt came in at the worst possible time today. It was pouring down raining when he came in. Yep. I was sitting at my desk and I looked over to the window and I couldn't even see outside because there was just water just coming down the window. And yeah, so today we cannot truly sit sit on the porch. And well, on a covered porch, you could. Guess, it would actually be quite nice, probably, because you'd hear the gentle sound of the rain, and it wouldn't be too hot.
Gentle sound is like.
I like rain. I like rain in every way, shape, or form, as long as I'm dry.
Yeah.
As long as I'm inside, I love rain. Oh. love. That would be weathered. I love how people are. I love how people are just sort of like, yeah, because a vintage look, that would also be kind of accurate to say. But yeah, so this is Buena Vista, and I also particularly love this label because it is. I think it is so cute. Subdued, sun-washed is a good way to describe it. Thank you very much for giving me such a like varied vocabulary. I'm slowly going to build my vocab just purely on suggestions from this chat. So what can you make out of Buena Vista? You could make pretty much anything from a summer shirt to a summer shawl to a scarf to some summery socks. It is a great soft yarn quality. Highly recommend. And it is 40% off with our code HAPPY40 for the next 23 and a bit hours. So Yolanda is also saying that my earrings look very nice. Thank you very much. I got them on Etsy. I have forgotten the name of the seller. I found them on Pinterest actually, and then looked from there and actually found a seller on Etsy and was very happy with it. I will check, and maybe next week if I remember, I'll tell you the name of the seller. I'm going to move on to the next yarn. So we're moving from a cotton blend, very summer appropriate yarn, to a wool blend. So maybe slightly less summer appropriate, depending on what summer is like where you are right now. We've got our Silly Socks Flower Pop next. So as the name suggests, Silly Socks, it is a sock yarn, it is a sock blend. You've got 75% wool and 25% polyamide, and it is another fingering or sock weight yarn. So if you're looking right now to start crafting for the colder season, because you're already done with all your summer projects and you're actually wearing them right now, then this might have been the yarn that you've been waiting for. It is a very, very fun and funky sock yarn. All the colors are just inspired by beautiful whirls of colors, of flowers, of good mood, fun craft times. So this is part of the Silly Socks family, and I would say if I had to pick a favorite within the Silly Socks family, Flower Pop would 100% be it. We recommend that you use anywhere from a 2.5 to a 4mm hook or needle when you work with this yarn, and it is machine washable at low to medium temperature. It's very easy to take care of, being a standard sock yarn. The wool in this is a regular sheep wool, so it definitely has the slightly more kind of rough or coarse texture of wool rather than a merino yarn, for instance. But for socks or also for any kind of outerwear, this yarn is still a great option. I don't find it scratchy. I would say it just has that slightly rougher surface, so it definitely has a more woolly feel to it. Barb's is saying, fortunately I can wear knitted socks year round. I thought I could as well. I feel like this particular summer is one of the first years where I'm kind of really struggling with it a little bit. But yeah, can you check on that one?
Always presses that on.
Yeah. Cynthia, the code isn't working for you because you have the wrong product in your cart. You've got Megaball Aaron, and the one that we have on the show today is Megaball. Just, that's why it's not working. So, Silly Socks Flower Pop, beautiful sock and otherwise yarn with gorgeous colors. Do we have pictures of some swatches on the website? No. Ah, there are. Perfect. Then we can play my favorite game, which is look at the swatch, look at the yarn. I don't have that one, but the next one. Nope, that's the wrong one. This is the right one. Look at the swatch and look at the yarn. This yarn makes that swatch. So one thing that is good to know with this lovely yarn is that while the color shifts are kind of similar, they are not always 100% equal, and the repeats are very long. So it's just good to know if you're someone who really wants to have each sock or their pair of socks look completely identical, it might take a little bit of extra craftiness with this yarn. It's not super easy guaranteed that you get the exact same every time. So just be aware of that. Of course, on most skeins, the repeats kind of line up that way and it works out. But just because it is produced just by making a whole lot and then just cutting and assembling the skeins, you may have a little bit of craftiness needed to get 2 pairs of socks that look exactly alike. You get 437 yards on one of these skeins, so one skein is enough for a pair of socks all the way up to sort of a medium size, size 8 or 9 women's, I think you'd be good to go. And if you have bigger feet, then you're gonna want to get a second skein. But you're gonna want to get a second skein anyway because the colors are so cute, so you know, that's how that works. But this is Silly Socks Flower Pop, our gorgeous sock yarn, and it is part of today's selection. And we're going to move on to a 100% cotton yarn, finally. Pauline's asking, would you make any other articles with Flower Pop sock yarn, or would it be too rough? I think it would still work for anything from a sweater to a vest to pretty much anything you'd want to make from it. I don't think it is too rough, but I will kind of preface that by saying that I am also not very sensitive, so I don't have particularly sensitive skin. I can wear just pure wool products, no problem. So it always depends a little bit on what exactly it is you're making, how much skin contact is that going to have, and how sensitive is the person whose skin it is in contact with. So you could make a scarf and a beanie, and I'd be fine wearing it, but maybe the next person wouldn't. That's always a little bit the trouble with wool yarns. So maybe people actually can like say what they think as well, because I always feel a bit bad saying like, no, it's perfect, and then I'm always like, yeah, but I'm also just not sensitive to these things. And I can see from our little poll that most of you agreed with me on the fall crafting. However, of course, I think we all love crafting year round. I think it's more like in the fall, I genuinely could do nothing else, and right now I'm always a little bit like, ugh, and then my project gets sweaty because my hands are sweaty. But crafting with more summery yarns could be a solution to that, and I actually saw a lot of people were saying in the chat that in the summer they just prefer to just work with pure cotton yarns. And so, as luck would have it, I have a pure cotton yarn for you now, and it is Sultan Deluxe. Sultan Deluxe is a cotton cake. It's made from 100% cotton. It is part of our Sultan family. And where Sultan is unspun, so you just have 4 plies next to each other, Sultan Deluxe is not. Sultan Deluxe has one thread that is very much spun together. You still get the beautiful color quality where from one to the next, the color shifts super slowly by just having 1 ply at a time, slowly changing color. So you run through a lot of variegated colors until you end up with a solid color in the center again. Sultan Deluxe has an easy start tap, so the inner thread is marked for your convenience if you want to start pulling from the center. If you'd prefer to pull from the outside, you can find the outer thread pretty easily out here. And then you have a variation of beautiful, beautiful different gradients. So this one, for instance, shows again a little bit better even how the color shifts so slowly from just 1 ply to the next throughout. So you get a lot of different variations in color in between and a really lovely gradient. That gradient runs for a little over 1,000 yards. So you've got loads of yarn to play with. It is a fingering or sock weight yarn again, and we recommend that you use anywhere from a 3 to 4 millimeter hook or needle when you work it up. Sultan Deluxe is one of those yarns that is kind of made predominantly with things like shawls in mind, but of course you can use it for other projects. You can use this for clothing, you can use this for accessories, you can use this for blankets, you could use this for a table runner. It is on the thinner side, so if you're, for instance, making a blanket, it's going to be more of a kind of very light, well, light I guess depends on the size, but like more of a kind of lightweight throw, whereas if you're turning this into clothing, it's going to have a really nice drape. It's a very soft material, and we do have a few really nice shawl patterns. These are all beginner-friendly shawl patterns. So this is the Simple Lines shawl made in Salton Deluxe, and you only need one to make it. This is kind of like with 1,000, just over 1,000 yards, it's 1,000 meters, so 1 kilometer of yarn. With about that much yarn is the perfect amount if you just want to do one kind of really nice, good size shawl to wrap yourself in. We also have this beautiful, this is the virus shawl pattern. So all of these are crochet patterns that you can make easily with just one cake and have a lovely summer project. It is a little bit, the color palette runs a little bit from kind of these more subtle and more tone in tone to these more bright and mixed colors, and truly something for everyone. It's machine washable at low to medium temperature and a great option for those of you who are looking for more of a summer crafty yarn as well. So I'd say if you're more of a summer crafter, look at Salton Deluxe or check out Buena Vista. If you're already now thinking of your winter projects, or if you don't mind the heat at all, then check out Silly Socks Flower Pop for a pop of color in your crafting journey. So those were the next 3 yarns, and that means we've now got our first chat giveaway. We are now looking for our next giveaway winner for a gift card worth $25 or equivalent in your currency. And all you have to do to participate on that giveaway is, if you're on Facebook or on YouTube, just type #giveaway in the chat the way it is written right here above me. You've got 1.5 minutes to do so. #giveaway for your chance to win our next gift card. And I'm gonna pull up our next few yarns, and we've got a lovely selection still left for you. We've got Mega Ball for those who want a large amount of acrylic that will run them a long way. We've got Twister Solid for those of you who are more into maybe a nice drapey blend. This is a cotton acrylic blend. And finally, for those of you who like a little accent or a little something different and extra, we've got Metallico. So we got these 3 yarns coming up. You've got 30 seconds left to type #giveaway in the chat for a chance to win a gift card worth $25. It's enough if you type it once, and you do not have to worry if you don't see your profile picture pop up there. You are still in the selection. Very nice. I can see loads of #giveaway in the chat. Perfect. And we've got 5 seconds left, so last chance to hop on in there. And now the system is gonna go find a winner for us. So let's see who the lucky winner is gonna be. I can see Natasha saying, I love Twister Solid. It is a very nice yarn. I'm saying very again, Matt. Last week I discovered that that is something I do right now. I just say very. Everything is very. Add another adjective.
It's an easy word to use.
It is, but it's also, you know, it's like limited vocabulary. Like, instead of saying something is very big, just say it is ginormous.
Yeah,
instead of saying something is very fun, just say it is entertaining. I don't know. We've got a winner, and it is Rainbow Paw Print, who is joining us on YouTube. Rainbow Paw Print, congrats! You are winner number 2 today in our live stream. Rainbow Paw Print, please send us an email to live@hobbii.com and make sure to include where you're shopping from and that you won today for your gift card worth $25 or equivalent in your currency. Congrats. And with that, let's move on to our next few yarns. I'm going to start with Twister Solid because I'm holding it in my hand right now. Penny's saying, sure, I step away and I missed the giveaway. Penny, we've got 2 more coming up. Be sure to like this video for 1 chance to win, and just be here in a little second and we'll have another chat giveaway very quickly. So what is Twister Solid? Twister Solid is this. It's a blend of 55% cotton and 45% acrylic. It is a lovely cake yarn made to drape very nicely. A perfect yarn to make shawls out of, to make clothing out of. It is great for blankets. It is great for all manner of cute accessories. It is really nice and soft. It's a fine or sport yarn weight, and we recommend that you use anywhere from a 3 to 4.5 millimeter hook or needle when working it up. You get 437 yards of goodness on one of these skeins, and it has a huge color palette for anyone who likes a sunny color, a gentle color, a bright and colorful color, or a muted tone. You will find all of those and more with Twister Solid. It also comes with the Easy Start tab that I showed you with Sultan Deluxe just now. So here also you have the inner center thread pull marked. Jillian is saying, Twister drapes so beautifully. The kerchief or bandana I just finished is gorgeous and it lays so nicely. I can confirm. It drapes very nicely. This is a yarn that I think is excellent if you're looking to make something like a tunic or a shirt or a blouse, or something like a shawl or a scarf or a little, like a little scarf. And I did put one pattern in the mix today because I thought it just looks so cool. This is the Hooked on You scarf. So it is a beautiful mosaic scarf made in Twister Solid that you can make. So this is the Hooked on You scarf. Of course, you can adjust the colors to your liking, and it's a beautiful free pattern that you can make. The free patterns, all of the patterns I'm showing you today, and in fact a few more patterns, are all linked on our landing page. So if you've typed Happy40 in the chat already, no need to do it again, but if you haven't, you can type it in the chat and it is going to come in. And then you're gonna get the link to this landing page, which has the yarns, but it also has the patterns, so you don't have to like frantically write down the names of the patterns if something I show you right now you really enjoy. Jackie is saying you can mix this with Friend's Wheel. You absolutely can. They are nearly identical. The color palette is mainly what sets them apart. And B is asking if you could substitute it in a pattern that says to use Rainbow Cotton 8.4. You're going to be a little bit off. Rainbow Cotton 8.4 is a fingering weight yarn and has a more dense and a little bit more solid structure. However, I think they are close enough that you could probably make it work, especially if it's not something that is very, very size sensitive. So if you're looking for something like a shawl, if you're looking for something like that, I would say you could probably substitute it no problem. If it's a garment, something where you have to make sure it fits, definitely make a swatch and see if you might have to adjust a little bit. But it's not the worst idea in terms of a substitute. So this was Twister Solid, and I'm gonna immediately have to move on to our next yarn. And the next one I have for you is Metallico, not Metallica the band, Metallico the yarn. Metallico is great for those of you who love a pop of shimmer on their items, who also love these really nice kind of jewel toned colors or metal shades. And it is just a really special yarn, I think. Gonna show you a close-up. This one is actually the fine variety. Just ignore the thickness. This is the yarn that we have. I just wanted to be able to show you the colors. So Metallico is made from 70% polyamide, 21% acrylic, and 9% wool. To be exact, it is this polyamide tube that is a shiny tube. So the tube itself has this shiny coating of kind of metallic color. And then the acrylic and wool fibers are blown into that netted tube, which then give it the color. So the tube itself is gold, or in this case, this berry metallic shine. And then the fibers are what adds a little bit of extra color effect to it. You've got some of them with the kind of, more metallic base color of actual kind of metals, and then you've got a few that have more of those kind of deep jewel tones as the base. As you can see, it's very nice and evenly distributed. You get a really nice even texture, and you get this really lovely effect where you get a little bit of fluff, but you don't have fibers all over the place. You just have them neatly tucked into this little tube. It is a medium yarn weight, so you're looking at a light worsted, I think it is. let me just double check that real quick actually. I keep meaning to note down what exactly it is because we used to have it. Oh, and I'm looking at the wrong yarn. So yeah, it's a number 4 yarn, and you get 126 yards on one of these guys. We recommend that you use anywhere from a 4.5 to a 5.5 millimeter hook or needle, and we do recommend that you hand wash it for best results. It is a really, really lovely yarn. And Jillian is asking if we have the black one to show because it doesn't look super metallic online. I sadly don't have it in the studio. That's partially because when we moved all of our stash, we dramatically downsized the number of skeins we have available to show here in the studio. The black Metallico still has the metallic shine. It is a lot more subtle, and I mean a lot more subtle than some of the others. So in comparison to these, it still reads kind of the same family, but it is a lot more muted. So you are right on that. It is less shiny than the lighter Metallico colors are. Metallico is super soft, so it's a really, really nice yarn to have kind of feel against your skin. And it is great for any kind of item that you want to have that little bit of sparkle. And I actually kind of put out this sweater for it. It's not sparkle, is it? It's shine more, you know, like more like metallic. Yeah, you know what I mean. This is the Call Me Back sweater, which is a super nice. I just saw that the description of the sweater says business in the front, party in the back. And this is a very fitting description for that sweater. I think it looks super cool. So this is the Call Me Back sweater for this open-backed sweater that you can make with either a half or a full open back option. You can make this free pattern in sizes extra small to XXL. And it is a really, really fun project to knit up for those of you who want to do that. That was the Call Me Back sweater made in Metallico, and if you wear that sweater, you can bet people are going to call you back. With this pattern, I actually have put up another poll that I kind of want to check in with you about, because again, like I said, I do want to tailor these streams to what you actually enjoy hearing about and what you enjoy seeing. And I know that, for instance, I'm a little bit blind on the knitting eye sometimes, and I know that I couldn't, or I should truly incorporate more knitting patterns. But just generally in terms of patterns, what are you the most drawn to? What kind of projects in your crafting? Are you more likely to go for clothing, any kind of accessories, decorations, or toys and plushies? Like, what is your go-to? It's just, and again, if we get a very big clothing, that does not mean I'm never going to show you an amigurumi pattern again. I just kind of want to get a feeling of like, what is it that you're the most drawn to, just, yeah, to make sure that you have a nice experience with these streams as well. And what you're definitely going to have a nice experience with is Mega Ball. So this is Mega Ball 400, not to be confused with Mega Ball Aran. These are two separate yarns. Mega Ball is the thinner version of the Mega Ball family. This is Mega Ball 400 gram. This is 400 grams of beautiful acrylic yarn. This is a really great, sort of very versatile acrylic yarn. You can use this in anything from a clothing project to making many amigurumis, to making massive blankets, to making any kind of decorative elements that you would like to do, any kind of accessories. Mega Ball is there for you. It's 1,300 yards of yarn. It is a medium weight, so recommended hook or needle size is a 4.5 to 5.5 millimeter. Gets you quite far. It is machine washable at medium temperature, so easy to take care of, and it's just a great kind of middle of the road, lot of bang for your buck acrylic. It's neither anything particularly special and premium, nor is it going to be super scratchy or electrified. It is just a really nice, solid choice for those of you who love crafting with acrylic and who would like to get a lot of it in one go. So that's Mega Ball. It comes in a wide range of colors. it works up really, really well. And anytime you're looking for, I mean, it's the middle of the year, so something like a temperature blanket. I mean, some people you can start them literally anytime, but most people I think start them towards the beginning of the year. But if you're looking for something for that, Mega Ball can be a great choice for that, just because, yeah, you get a lot in one skein and then it kind of runs. Ellie's asking, how's Mega Ball and Daily Stitch different? So they're not quite the same weight. They do have a little bit of difference there. The color palettes are also different, and I do think that Daily Stitch comes in a smaller skein. I'm not 100% sure about that right now because I haven't had Daily Stitch in my hand in a long time. Last time I had Daily Stitch in my hand, it was still called something else. I can see a lot of people are saying, Melissa is saying, I use Mega Ball as the neutral color in my blankets and then use other colored yarns of the same weight for the design. That is a really cool idea as well. And that is a really cool use as well, again, of the fact that you get a lot of one solid color in a Mega Ball, because you can then very nicely just work your way away from it with just a lot of yarn running. I'm gonna quickly go over there and grab the mouse so I can show you the color palette for Mega Ball, because there's a lot of color in options that you have there. And if you want to do the same thing and you want to work up something where you want the neutral as your base, and then you want to maybe combine it with something that has a color gradient or an effect, or just another different type of colored yarn, then you can. And yeah, Mega Ball has pretty much a little bit of everything that you can work with. And yeah, someone said it's a similar head, it's another head-sized skein. You are absolutely correct. It absolutely is. It is another head-sized skein. So, I need to get my temperature blanket done. It is huge already, says Victoria. I can imagine. I mean, you're more than halfway through the year, so you're probably doing pretty well. So this is Mega Ball. It's 40% off if you use our code HAPPY40 for the next 24 hours. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and actually announce our third giveaway winner of the night. Thank you to everyone who gave a like to this video, and thank you so much for joining. And congrats to our winner, Paula Skuglik Swoboda. Paula Skuglik Swoboda, congratulations! You are winner number 3 tonight. Please make sure to send us an email to live@hobbii.com so that we can get your gift card to you. And please include where it is that you're shopping from so we can make sure the gift card is made out in the right currency and for the right market. How's Mega Ball with Amigo? Again, check the sort of specifications. So I think Mega Ball goes best with Amigo XL, I would guess. So based on their size. And Jody's saying, I'm still working on my 2023 temperature blanket. Yeah, they do tend to go that way, don't they? The blankets.
You can just make a year blanket.
You could just make just many years.
Many
And
years.
at some point they're done, you know.
Like a decade.
So we've got our next yarn actually coming up, or next yarns plural. We've got Sunbird, we've got Tweed Dreams, and we've got our final yarn of the night, which we don't have in the studio, which is Manarola. So we're just going to quickly pull Manarola up on the screen. I'm very sorry, we couldn't find it. Must have gotten lost in the move. So Manarola is this gorgeous, gorgeous yarn. It has a really nice, very loosely spun texture. It's made from 100% acrylic and has a shiny, slightly shiny surface. So similar to our Yarn Carnival, the main difference between the two is just the color palette. You get 260 yards on one skein and a recommended hook or needle size of a 4 to 4.5. It is machine washable at medium temperature, and it is part of today's sale. We just don't have it in the studio, so we sadly can only show it on the website. I will make sure to include it again in the future so that I can give you a proper tour of what Manarola is. But just for today, we're showing it on the website, and then we have the other two yarns in the studio, and that is Sunbird and Tweed Dreams. both of these are acrylic yarns, and one of them, Sunbird, has a straight color change, so you get blocky stripes. Each skein, same color shift, so you've got the same colors in every skein in pretty much even stripes. And then Tweed Dreams, a kind of fake tweed yarn where you get little spots of color for a little kind of mottled effect. We're going to start with Sunbird, which I'm going to... Whoa, that computer is loud right now.
Yeah.
The cooling on the computer just went on pretty loudly. And this is Sunbird. So Sunbird has gorgeous colors, a incredibly soft quality. It is probably the single softest and nicest acrylic yarn that we have. You get 546 yards on one of these skeins, and the recommended hook or needle size is a 4 to 5 millimeter. One thing I will say about Sunbird is you can already see this skein hasn't been handled a lot and it is slowly sliding apart. That is because the surface of this yarn is so soft and it is so just smooth that the fibers will essentially just glide off each other and it will fall apart. So with a yarn like this, please, please, please do me the favor and do yourself the favor. Grab a yarn winder or a little bit of time so that you can wind it into a ball or wind it into a cake and then use it, because trust me on this, once this knots up, it is so hard, nearly impossible to get it apart again, and it's just going to make you cry because this yarn is gorgeous. It is absolutely beautiful. It is a great yarn. You can make anything from a blanket to a shawl to clothing out of. I've included 2 patterns for baby blankets on the webpage. We are sadly running very, very hard on time, so I won't be able to show them to you, but you can check them out. If you've typed Happy40 in the chat, you will find them there, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous color palette, gorgeous yarn. Highly recommend Sunbird. And if you want to check out some patterns, Sheila's asking, would that make a shawl? If you're crocheting a shawl with Sunbird, I would recommend getting 2. I think 1 has just over 500 yards, 2 gives you just over 1,000, so I would say 2 is a perfect amount for a nice shawl. I've made 1 shawl with it and I needed 2, so I would say that's kind of the ballpark figure there. For things like a baby blanket as well, I would say 2 is a perfect amount. And the final yarn of the night is Tweed Dreams, which is this yarn. It's another acrylic yarn, very different. As you can see, like if you hold them next to each other, of course, you can see just how smooth the surface of the Sunbird is. That's this yarn. And then in comparison here, you get another pretty solid middle of the road, very nice and squishy acrylic with these little colored dots. And these little dots will add a kind of tweed-like effect to the finished project. Here you get 109 yards on one skein, and we recommend that you use between a 4.5 and 5.5 millimeter hook or needle to work it up. And it has a really fun color palette with different colored spots depending on the base color of the yarn. So I'll show 3. Tiffany is saying, I use 2 for my shawl, but I would recommend 3 as well for Sunbird. So that's also a great input there. So as you can see here, for instance, you have this rose base color, and then you have 2 different types of rose and purple for the dots. And here you've got this mustard base color, and it's got orange and dark blue spots. So depending on the base color, you'll have something that kind of goes well with that and creates a really cool kind of mottled color effect. So this is Tweed Dreams, our last yarn of the night. It is also 40% off with our code Happy40. And we do have one final giveaway from the chat, and we're going to select that winner now. So please, everyone on Facebook and YouTube, to participate now, type #giveaway in the chat one more time for a chance to win another gift card worth $25 or equivalent in your currency. And I'm just going to quickly run you through our selection that we had for you today. We had Tweed Dreams, that was our final yarn, and there is a pattern for it, and it is called the Wizard Owl, and it is linked on the landing page, but we're out of time, so I can't show it to you. We also had Sunbird, our beautiful premium acrylic yarn. We had Twister Solid, a really lovely drapey cotton acrylic blend. We also had Mega Ball, perfect for mega sized crafting adventures. We had Metallico, not to be confused with Metallica, for a really nice sparkly project. We had Salt and Deluxe for all you cotton lovers out there. We had Silly Socks Flower Pop for those looking to get a little bit silly with their socks. We had Buena Vista, the yarn that is not faded, but instead has vintage muted charm. We had our blanket yarn, which again, a skein that's bigger than my head. We had Peacock to add that little bit of fluff and pizzazz to your project. And we had Fluffy Day, the one with the adorable cat on the label. That was today's selection. In addition to that, we had Menarola, which we did not have in the studio, therefore could not show you in person. We'll remedy that at a future date. But all of these 12 yarns are 40% off with our code HAPPY40. And if you check out our landing page, I have linked patterns there for the yarns that we've shown so that you can get them. We have our fourth winner of the night, and it is Judith Botger. Congratulations, Judith. You are the final winner of a gift card worth $25. And all you got to do is send us an email to live@hobbii.com. So send us an email to live@hobbii.com. And Katrina is asking if it's June Jewel Studio in Spain. Yes, June Jewel. That sounds correct. That was also what was written on the package. So that is where my earrings are from. That is great detective work, wow. Katrina. Yeah. But yes. You know, it's like that thing of like, I don't remember what it's called. The second you see the name, you're like, yes, that is what it was called.
Yeah.
So thank you so much to all of you for joining us today. And I'm sorry that the ending was a bit rushed, but we're running out of time. We need to clear the studio. I will see you again next week for our live shopping, which is the final one before I go on holiday. Matthias is going to be having a quiz time with you on Thursday. So if you want to join him there for that, join him on Thursday, same time as this stream. Until then, everyone, take care. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you very soon. Have a great rest of your day, morning, evening, afternoon, and see you very soon.